Hello dear friends, let's talk about problems of Fiat Panda. The Fiat Panda has proven to be solid when it comes to reliability. The owners are overwhelmingly pleased with the Fiat Panda, and in all polls the Panda is in the first place when it comes to Fiat models. Very few problems are reported with the Fiat Panda, but of course there are things to look out for. Clutch problems are known to wear out too quickly, and in some specimens, a problem with the handbrake has been reported, where the mechanism has failed. If you are buying a multi-jet diesel, ask the previous owner about their oil and fuel consumption, as some owners have complained that the consumption of both was too high. There is also frequent damage to the front lash. The exhaust system is often very rusty, a problem with shock absorbers. Electronic problems. Some Fiat Panda can leak fuel. There is a possibility that fuel may be leaking from the defective connector of the fuel return pipe. There was a recall of the affected vehicles for inspection and, if necessary, change the pipes. Fiat Panda engine mount braked to 1.1 manufactured in 2004. Fiat Panda 1.2 dynamic on Panda made by mid-2007 problems with 5-speed gearbox power steering failure. In early Fiat Panda models until 2004, fuel pump failure. This case occurs mainly in gas vehicles if the fuel pump has not been in contact with gasoline for an extended period of time. The problem with the heat sink fan. Corroded power contacts, the fan stops running, which can cause the engine to overheat. In models made up to 2004, there were often problems with the gas potentiometer, the alternator sensitive to moisture, and the failure of the coolant pump. Gasoline engine. Fiat Pandas manufactured until September 2004 have a problem with the idle engine noise, poor idle speed during cold start, or engine speed falling during gear changes due to a software error in the central unit. The solution is to install the modified software in the ECU of the engine. 1.3 the MJTD is a highly regarded engine, although also not devoid of flaws. It is very sensitive to fuel quality. The fuel delivery hose next to the air filter may have friction rubbing. This can lead to fuel leaks into the engine compartment over time and consequently a fire. Fiat Panda has been called off to replace the fuel delivery hose and, where necessary, replace the hose guard duct. In the initial period of production of the Fiat Panda 1.3 MJTD, several heads were cracked in several units, but the manufacturer quickly managed to solve this problem. 1.3 MJTD requires regular oil control. Its lack leads not only to engine damage, but also to shortening the life of the turbocharger and the risk of failure of the timing system. Some users report problems with the EGR valve. If you're opting for a multi-jet diesel, check the engine oil level and ask the previous owner for fuel consumption, as some models have been known to consume much more than usual. Of course, regular service is a very important thing, so make sure to check the service booklet when shopping. Fiat Panda 1.3 MJTDs manufactured to 2004 have a problem with fuel injectors on fuel injectors and fuel lines replacement within the warranty period. Diesel engine. Certain models have had major problems with hypersensitive nozzles on water in the fuel. Most needed replacement. Sometimes the whistling is heard turbines due to manufacturing error. There was a replacement of the turbine if needed, under warranty. 1.3. The MJTD oil pressure control indicator stays briefly on cold start. The oil non-return valve leaks after a long standstill. The solution is to replace the heat exchanger. Fiat commences at the end of March 2007. The recall of the Fiat Panda, made between September 2003 and November 2006, could lead to water seepage, causing a short circuit in the ABS control. The ABS control unit gasket has been replaced. Due to the possibility of problems in the production process, flexible rubber brake hoses may not be vulcanized properly. As a consequence, it may partially or completely limit the internal flow of the hydraulic fluid of the brake. If this happens, there will be a decrease in braking efficiency. Vehicles were recalled for hose testing to identify whether they were within the affected batch. If this is the case, the hoses have been replaced. The loud thumping noise from the middle of the front lower part of the car on wet roads is the reason for the water entering and brake armor causing a thumping noise. Fiat Panda models made from September 2004 to February 2005 have problems with brake fluid loss. The reason being a faulty tire in the master brake cylinder, which allows the brake fluid to leak into the servo brakes. Fiat called Fiat Panda owners for service in December 2008 because of a wrong angle of the steering sensor. Failure of the sensor can lead to ESP problems. Affected vehicles made in 2008 with 1.2, 8V, 1.416V and 1.3 multi-jet engines. On Fiat Pandas made in June and July 2004, the factory steering wheel bar is improperly mounted. It can manifest through steering noise and then accelerated wear. With Panda, there are never major complaints or frequent malfunctions. Given our paths, some modified throttle, selenium or clamp clearance is not a problem. Some drivers complain about a small life of the shock absorbers, endure only 50 miles, and start to leak. Electrical equipment is probably Panda's weakest point. The list of problems includes an alternator, a radiator, a fan thermal switch, and an interior ventilation system fan. Moisture is the most harmful to the alternator, accelerating corrosion processes. Fan failure usually precedes the louder operation of the electric motor. The central locking system has problems due to improper electrical installation, sometimes possible failure of the central locking system. The solution is to control the installation and replace the fuse. Fiat Panda models made by November 2003 had problems with the airbags and the airbag control lamp. This can lead to the uncontrolled opening of the airbags. Revocation in early 2005. Fiat Panda has problems with the engine management system and immobilizer. The transmitter in the key may have communication problems and the engine will not start. Air conditioning. Fiat Panda with air conditioning had problems with noise from the air conditioner at 1500 to 1400 RPM. Engine noise was heard from the air conditioning pipes. Modified air conditioning pipes were installed. Fiat Panda fuel tank fuel gauge defective. The solution is to put a modified fuel tank gauge. Electric windows. Problems with moving windows up and down. Vehicle electrical installation control required. Rear shelf. Sometimes the rear shelf creaks. Clutch pedal squeak. Fiat Panda has poor heating in winter because the engine does not produce enough heat due to its high efficiency. There are cases of corrosion of the Fiat Panda tailgate. Appears near the lock. It corrodes the exhaust very quickly. The windshield seal can leak, causing water to enter the cabin. See if there is water in the leck area. The bonnet does not open or close properly. The engine bonnet retainer. Clean the lubricate the engine bonnet retainer mechanism.
Don't forget to subscribe my channel, and if you're the owner of this car, then share your experience. It will help others to choose a car. Goodbye.